Hello everyone, this is Critic giving you Game 7 in a best of 7 series. Wow, alright. Don't know what that sound was. Hello? Alright, okay, that kind of distracted me just a little bit. Alright, Game 7 in a best of 7 series between Root QXC and Mouse Strelok here on Metalopolis. We have QXC spawning as the purple Terran player here at, I believe, the 3 o'clock position. I'll call the 3 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have Strelok spawning here as the green Terran player all the way across the map. This is going to be Terran versus Terran. This promises to be a very, very long match just because of the positioning here, unless we see a lot of early harassment and a lot of early damage. But even if there is a lot of early damage, I believe that both players will be able to get a strong economy going and be able to absorb some of those losses and try to get back into this game. Now, taking a look at the production tab, nothing too out of the ordinary coming in from both players. We now see a supply depot being placed straight in the path of one of the Vespian geysers, and I'm not 100% sure why these players have opted to do this. Perhaps there's an article out there that tells you that you actually mine a little bit faster when the supply depot is right there. I can't imagine that being the case. Maybe perhaps for over here, as you get a straight shot here and a straight shot there, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure what that's about. And now we see QXC, yeah, also lowering his supply depot as well. Both players also getting that standard barracks, and now we see Strelok doing that early scouting. So we'll be scouting in the clockwise direction. It will probably be another minute or so before Mouse Strelok does come across QXC's base. There are a lot of options on Metalopolis for Terran versus Terran. If you notice, a lot of these mineral patches are very much exposed to Banshee play. A Banshee can hug around this corner, try to get some damage, and then fly to that low ground, taking out some of those Marines and then trying to come back in once again. So Banshees are also a viable option here on Metalopolis. Also, these Xel'Naga watchtowers are becoming very, very important in Terran versus Terran, as not only does sitting a siege tank here give you the Xel'Naga watchtower and sight, it also gives you high ground advantage, making it even more difficult for Marauders and Marines to get in combat range without having a scanner sweep or having Vikings or other air support air spotters. One Marine now down over here was able to quickly check that there is one Marine now trying to chase away at that SCV. SCV will be able to get out of there, as this SCV coming in from Mouse Strelok will be able to return home as well. One Marine activating this Xel'Naga watchtower. Perhaps another Marine will activate the other Xel'Naga watchtower here. No, it's going to be an SCV, and these two units will be able to see each other across that gap. If you did not know, from one side you can see the other Xel'Naga watchtower, so both players know that the other Xel'Naga watchtower is currently being controlled. QXC making sure to set up some supply depots and now going for a Reaper. So a Reaper in order to get perhaps some harassment in it, but now Strelok also going for a Reaper as well. So it is going to be Reaper versus Reaper here on Metalopolis. And now this Reaper, one of the advantages that he's going to have by activating this Xel'Naga watchtower is that he does have sight over here to try to shoot down that Marine, and yeah, down it goes. So I believe one Marine on the low ground was absorbing some of that damage, and now Strelok was able to come in from behind and snipe him with that Reaper. So that Reaper already getting one quick kill there. We do have a Reaper now perhaps going to sit on this ledge here, and that is going to be a problem if Strelok tries to come in. If Strelok does try to come in, oh no, one Reaper, QXC moving away, doesn't see that Reaper is there, doesn't see any other units there, and now this Reaper is going to try to perhaps return home in order to get some natural defense in. We now see one SCV also returning as this Reaper, perhaps trying to figure out what it could have done. I believe the Reaper could have dealt some damage here if it tried to get into that location, and now we are going to see Banshees coming out from QXC. So QXC will be coming in with those Banshees. One Reaper jumping up onto that high ground, sees a group of Marines, cannot engage there, wants to get the heck out of there, but still running around that corner. I'm not sure, doing a nice long distance jump there. That is a little bit of a help, getting some additional distance with that one jump, and now that Reaper just running around. The SCVs are able to catch up to that Reaper just a little bit, and it needs to be careful. Oh, that Reaper now gonna get caught perhaps in the dark over here, trying to come back around, getting pinned in the corner, and now down it goes. But that Reaper did do a good job of scouting And by doing some decent scouting job, he was able to see that there was another orbital command here. So Strelok is currently running off of a mass barracks build. He does have a lot of Marines and will have even more once those reactors are online. We now see an SCV coming down in order to set up an expansion over here, and in comes this Reaper. The Reaper is going to be able to perhaps shoot down this SCV. No, going after the command center instead, and quickly losing it there. So that was a little bit of an issue. One Hellion was trying to perhaps run up that ramp, unable to get any serious damage off, as this command center will be landing here. QXC responding by seeing that earlier command center, by placing down a command center of his own, knowing that he cannot fall behind economically. Hellion trying to play a very, very dangerous game of chicken with those Marines, and those Marines were able to shoo off that one Hellion, but now in comes a Banshee, and the Banshee will have a lot of low hit point Marines to try to pick off. So how much damage will this Banshee be able to do? There are double orbital commands, and now a decent amount of energy between the two of them. So there should be plenty of room for scanner sweeps. In comes this Banshee. Banshee now trying to get some kills. One kill already down. How many kills will this Banshee get? Already up to 3. And it should be able to get up to 4 in just a moment there. There's the 4th. And now trying to walk up and fly over here. And now able to get even more kills once again. Already up to 5. And now quickly cloaking. Needs to be careful. Those Marines now trying to stim in. And that was a little bit of an issue as no scanner sweep was initiated. Now getting even more kills. So a lot of damage being dealt by QXC. Already up to 10 kills as it parks right in that location, perhaps getting even more kills. Yeah, even more kills on those Marines. Marines finally scanner sweeping, but that is a little bit late there as that one Banshee already up to 14 kills. Another scanner sweep being used. Nicely done. Would that Banshee be able to escape? Yes, I believe so, but now in comes an army of Marines to try to test the front door, and there's not much over here by QXC. QXC does have one Banshee now moving out, and there are now a swarm of Marines simply coming in. We'll be able to get a lot of damage very easily. Down goes more. There's a siege tank on the high ground. SCV is now trying to engage as well. SCV is getting picked apart as those Marines using that stim attack move, trying to kite those units as more and more units are engaging. Now we have those siege tanks trying to fight back. Marines are trying to focus down those units there, but the one armor on those siege tanks helping out tremendously, and down goes one Banshee. But a fresh Banshee now coming in as well, trying to get more kills. We'll be able to get more damage across some of those units. And now, however, there are a decent number of Marines. Will that Banshee get shot down? No, it does not look like it will get shot down. Able to get some more kills and able to finish off 3 Marines before it was taken down. So Strelok is in a little bit of trouble economically. Both sides lost many of their SCVs, so 23 to 24, but QXC, because he wasn't wasting energy or being forced to use energy on those scanner sweeps, does have a stronger economy as he has double mules now mining out at his natural expansion. Production-wise, level 1 infantry upgrade has been completed. Marines and Marauders dealing more damage. As I continue to burp, yes, I had a great lunch. Now another Banshee coming in as well. So QXC moving out with another Banshee. Both sides will not be able to take a very, very easy expansion anytime soon. Just because of the number of harvesters that both of them lost. So now in comes this one Banshee. Banshee trying to rack up more kills, trying to do that Banshee dance in the air, trying to rack up those kills, and now perhaps going after a reactor or two, just staying out of combat range from that missile turret. I believe it is within sight range though. Yeah, and now pulling away at just the right moment, getting another kill. So only 2 quick kills by that Banshee so far, and trying to get even more kills once again. Now in comes another scanner sweep. Marines already coming over here from Strelok. Strelok doing a great job, able to shoot that Banshee out of the sky. So Strelok just using a lot of Marines and Marauders and doing a great job of controlling the aggression from those Banshees between double orbital commands and missile turrets acting as detectors. Back here, we now see siege tanks in siege mode, or with siege tech, do have a couple Marines now moving out as well. And now what will happen? One Marine on the move, trying to do some scouting, and it will run into the bulk of QXC's army, and now it gets quickly cleaned up. One Marine now trying to activate this Onaga Watchtower. However, I believe Strelok will be able to capture it and maintain it as QXC walks up a ramp. No sight there, and now that Marine's still able to gain sight. But now in comes a swarm of Marines and SCVs trying to deal more damage. Siege tanks blasting back and forth. And now Strelok using just stimmed Marines, getting a lot of damage onto these medevacs. Are we going to see another stim? Probably not, as that one, stimming with only 2 Marines. Very, very nice. Only using 20 hit points by stimming 2 Marines in order to shoot down a very, very low hit point medevac. So Strelok able to fend off that attack, and this game is now going back and forth. It is still anyone's game at this stage. We now see a command center now being built over here. There is one Marine standing guard on this high ground here, making sure that no expansion has been established just quite yet. And now you're going to see these this medevac drop try to drop in the back location here. There are no missile turrets, so it looks as though this drop may be successful. Marines are on the move here as we now see some siege tanks, both sides with very small armies, only 1350. Both of them engaging with rather small armies. One Marine was trying to stim and trying to walk down that ramp, unable to successfully, as 3 Marines now activate this Xel'Naga watchtower. A drop happening here, and now with these Marines, those Marines should be able to stim along this backside, get some damage onto those SCVs, but you have to be careful with stimming Marines, as that medevac may get too close to those missile turrets. Now simply going straight into here, getting a lot of damage, now going after that one missile turret, and getting quickly shot down there, as more damage being dealt across another missile turret, making sure to stay out of combat range, and now in comes a siege tank. Siege tank able to get some damage off, and now a nice emergency evac pickup. Marines trying to get underneath that medevac. Medevac already down to 34 hit points and will be able to escape. There were a couple Marauders that were able to recapture this Xel'Naga watchtower, so that did help recapture these Xel'Naga watchtowers. Sight so important on this map in order to make sure that your opponent is not trying to do any serious drops. Command center now in the process of landing will get thwarted by this one Marine sitting off over here at the 5 o'clock expansion, now trying to shoot up at the sky. The Marine, it will be able to deal what, 5 damage or 6 damage per attack, as that one command center slowly flying away. The command center does move faster than an Overlord without yeah, so I believe almost twice as fast, as this command center should be landing up in just a moment. A lot of those SCVs, however, going to do some long distance mining, as another drop coming in over here. So this drop doing a great job. Marines quickly cleaning up that one medevac there, but there is now another Marine preventing Strelok from establishing his own expansion as well. Nice of a delay, as QXC will finally be able to land his expansion in just a moment. There it is, and Strelok should be able to land here, and now we see an upgrade to a planetary fortress. So both players opting to go for planetary fortresses. I believe, no, Strelok opting to go for an orbital command, so he will have more energy, and now you're going to see a very, very large influx of minerals coming in from Strelok, as he did call down 4 mules. 4 mules have the efficiency of 24 SCVs, so this is essentially these 4 mules are essentially mining at the rate of a fully saturated mineral line. If you guys were wondering how powerful those mules really are, Marines now simply trying to walk up and will be able to get some damage across some of those Marauders. Marauders now trying to run away, will not be able to run away all too easily, as there is now a large group of units here. So Marines now trying to come in, and this is a very, very large group of units that QXC perhaps is trying to bait. Marine now trying to fight back over here. One Marine just activating this Xel'Naga watchtower. Siege tanks unable to blast up onto that high ground, as both players know the range on those siege tanks. Siege tanks will be sieging up here, and now this is going to be a very, very dangerous game of siege tank wars. There are medevacs in the air, but the medevacs are not going to be able to gain sight. There are the siege tanks here. A scanner sweep coming in from Strelok, trying to see if he gets any free hits on any of those tanks. Unable to, as Strelok still has a strong economic advantage. I still don't see that many Vikings currently anywhere to be found so far, as QXC is just slowly pushing out with these siege tanks. Should be able to start blasting away with some of those units, and now getting some damage onto that siege tank. Siege tank will get taken down there, as Strelok decides to move back. There is one siege tank re-sieging up, trying to make sure that these Marines are not going to be able to get that much damage, and now simply trying to come in and now trying to get some damage onto those units there. Marines, however, were able to thwart that attack. One siege tank, and no, 3 siege tanks now trying to fend off this attack even further, and now a lot of damage can be dealt. So both sides scanner sweeping, both sides just beyond combat range, as they will not be able to deal any damage towards each other. But now we also see a drop of Marines coming in over to the this expansion on the high ground at the 5 o'clock location. QXC is in trouble right now, as he's not going to be able to produce nearly as many tanks with this refinery gone. These Marines could probably get into this location here, try to thwart some of those SCVs mining. But now that QXC has Marines coming in to deal with these Marines down over here, that is quickly going to get cleaned up, and now Strelok is being forced to retreat with those units. The siege tanks are not upgraded. The Marauders and Marines are upgraded 1-0, and that is it, as we now have a large swarm of purple QXC now making a move onto this expansion here. Strelok needs to siege up these tanks and in a hurry, otherwise he's going to be in trouble. Siege tanks, both sides now sieging up and now getting a lot of damage in, and now just in time Strelok will be able to defend his expansion. This refinery may get taken down, but it is going to be a very, very heavy tank war now between both of these locations. QXC does seem to have a little bit of a better control. He would be able to take this expansion here, as he does have control of both of these Xel'Naga watchtowers. So yeah, both Xel'Naga watchtowers allowing him to mine in peace. Siege tanks once again slowly trying to move forward on the scene. Not going to be sure if it's going to be successful as those SCVs now coming off the mineral line. SCVs coming in to engage. QXC going to lose his siege tanks here as those tank man SCVs able to take down multiple siege tanks. Vikings are on patrol in this location. The what Strelok's answer to the Xel'Naga tower and offering sight, and now both sides just in a standoff. No one wanting to move out from this location. And now we see more siege tanks and marines once again on the move. The Strelok going to siege up his tanks in time. It does not look like it, as these siege tanks are now trying to back off. Siege tanks now are going to be sieging up. Siege tanks sieging over here as well, as both sides are going to be able to deal a lot of damage back and forth. But I believe QXC's siege tanks are in a little bit of a better position, but now we should be seeing some drops straight into this location, getting a lot of damage across many of these siege tanks, as well as these siege tanks are going to be forced to back off. I do not believe they can attack move. There are double the number of siege tanks, but many of them are low on hit points. We now see QXC establishing another base over here, and now QXC, by establishing his fourth base, will have a strong economy advantage. Now in come those Vikings. Vikings able to almost take down both of those medevacs, but the Marines were able to come in and thwart the attack. Siege tanks over here on the high ground once again, and now both sides going to be dealing a lot of damage, and now one medevac will be able to clean up this siege tank over here, and these siege tanks may get muled out if there is enough sight. More units over here on the high ground quickly getting cleaned up as SCVs are now being sent in to repair some of these siege tanks. Still a standoff in this location here, as both sides are trying to figure out what exactly they can do. Strelok does have a command center here, should be able to lift it off into this location in just a moment. But really, I believe QXC has a strong advantage just by already having this command center set up. Marines, no, SCVs now being transferred over. That is going to be a lot of SCVs being able to harvest a decent amount of minerals in just a moment. As now, a cloaked Banshee now in the air trying to clean up many of those siege tanks. And now in comes a Viking. Viking trying to offer some assistance. Two Vikings, however, able to counter that. And now we should be getting Vikings on patrol to try to finish up some of those siege tanks down, or offer sight. And now Strelok being forced to pull back with those siege tanks once again. One Banshee over here is currently being scanner sweep. It is revealed, and now these SCVs just on auto repair, trying to keep this army alive. Both sides have maximum armies. Both sides have a decent number of minerals in the bank. QXC about 1,500, Strelok about 1,000 right now, as Strelok needs to figure out what he wants to do with his army. Marines were trying to give chase against those siege tanks. Siege tanks do not have any upgrades though. So 0-0 siege tanks against 0-0 siege tanks. Marines are upgraded 1-0 compared to 1-1. One Banshee quickly getting taken down. And now in comes another drop from QXC. So QXC getting another timely drop on those Marines, getting a lot of kills over here, and now going to be able to shoo away many of those SCVs, stopping the mining of Strelok for a little bit of time. Marines now trying to move over as these siege tanks are now moving off into this position, and now these siege tanks are fortified to blast away at essentially nothing, as there is nothing over here. Only a bare minimum of units here. There are only, what, 4 siege tanks there. So this is going to be the move by Strelok. Strelok now moving out with these siege tanks, trying to get some distance between some of those units. These siege tanks are going to get absolutely cleaned up. These units need to unscanner sweep. QXC realizes that there are no units there, and now are these going to move out, or is he going to try to defend? Going to step it up an expansion there, it looks as though. And now Vikings now trying to clean up as these siege tanks are on the move, perhaps to try to clear off this expansion and this expansion. No, going to move straight into the main base here. And there we should be seeing some siege tanks. Now Strelok, both sides engaging. There is a large number of SCVs and Marines just trying to absorb much of that damage, and Marines also fighting back as well. QXC will lose many of his siege tanks here, and this is going to be very, very problematic for QXC. Siege tanks now battling it out, and Strelok doing a great job cleaning up this aggression. He was able to deal a lot of damage towards many of those siege tanks here, and now we're going to perhaps see a drop straight into this location, up onto that high ground. Siege tanks now starting to blast off over here. Are we going to get within combat range? Siege tanks now trying to blast away. There are missile turrets, and siege tanks blasting off over here. It's becoming a base race as Strelok now moves in with the superior forces. His army is much larger as there are now siege tanks blasting off into this location. And perhaps these siege tanks will be able to hit up onto that high ground. It does not look like it. I think that's a very, very bad position. Yeah, a horrible positioning there, as those siege tanks will be able to continue to blast. And now this siege tank should get cleaned up in just a moment. But now these siege tanks making their way off into this expansion over here at the 3 o'clock or the 5 o'clock location. A couple of SCVs and a sensor tower really not guarding much, as more barracks now being laid down. No one's really mining all too much. No, Strelok is not mining, only mining at 700, but now siege tanks are going to be able to start blasting away at this planetary fortress here. And now both sides really need to figure out what they want to do, what they want to engage with. There are just a lot of siege tanks in this position. One siege tank, perhaps two, should be able to fend off against any attack. Marines now being rallied instead of attacking, taking a lot of damage there, a lot of low hit point siege tanks, but this planetary fortress just taking a beating from all of these siege tanks, and now one Banshee trying to clean it up. It looks as though, yeah, QXC was able to fend off that attack, and now Strelok is in trouble, down to a 2,000 mineral army compared to 4,150. QXC sieging much of his army inside his own base to offer protection. Strelok now in a bit of trouble. What's going to be happening with these units? SCVs are now walking up the ramp in order to start repairing, and that is absolutely huge. Getting very, very strong siege tanks back in that battle, it will be important. SCVs now trying to get underneath this starport to repair it. It will be repaired in just a moment. As that Viking now trying to give chase, I don't see any missile turrets that will be able to offer any protection there. Starport will be able to land, and now in comes another army from QXC. QXC is looking very, very strong. This one command center not upgrading to an orbital command, and these Marines will be able to clean up this expansion very easily. More barracks and more units trying to be trained here. A lot of production, but Strelok is forced to say GG. Strelok realizing that he couldn't get back into that game, by trying to do a main push into the production here on the base, he was pretty successful and did a lot of damage, also clearing out this expansion and this expansion as well. But I think if he had went straight for the economy of QXC, it may have been a little bit more effective, as the sheer reinforcements from QXC started to become too much, and QXC got a lot of reinforcements here, was able to just fend off this attack. Even though Strelok had a little bit of a larger army, those siege tanks were able to just stand back, relax, and enjoy some long distance shelling against an army that was slowly trying to encroach on QXC's base. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay. Now, I would like to say that QXC or Root did win this best of 7 series, but I'm actually not 100% sure, because Game 7 was actually played before Games 4 and 5. So it could be that this game is just moot, and Games 4 and 5 went to mouse. Actually, I need to double check my spread. I'll take a look at it later. Anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe the series was already. Maybe it was impossible for mouse to even. Maybe mouse has at most 3 games won. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this here on Metalopolis.